My iPhone annoys me so much. I'm gonna get the 1 terabyte iPhone. I know it's not out yet. I know they're only at the like 512 gigabytes, but I've had my phone stop my video in the middle of recording so many times, and it just irks me to no end. So it's so annoying. It's amazing how annoying that is to me. But back to Arrowwood, right? Arrowwood.org. I read so many trip reports, so like literally thousands of them. I looked at all different types of substances that you can ingest. You know, I kept thinking it was laced with something, but even if I were to look at the trip reports that came close to what I experienced, they weren't really the same thing, and not a lot of the people after, you know, coming out from the trip kind of like made the tie or linked up the current non-high reality to the one that they were experiencing while they were high, and that was what made me different. Was that when I came back after forever, I came back, you know, one of the things I told my then girlfriend was like, you know, I'm still high. Like nothing has really changed since I've come down from that. It's just that now it's more subtle and it's not as horrifying. I mean, it's not horrifying at all. Like right now, it's not horrifying at all. I've integrated it. I've understood it. I've gained insight, and now the knowledge is a tool for me for creation rather than some sort of horrifying experience. Because that's what people always get caught up on, is that it's the only stumbling block here in the realm is people get fixed mentation, fixed belief system. It gets fixed, and then they're like, well, this is how it is and life sucks. And that's what that's the trap that everyone falls into, is they're like, this is how it is and life sucks, and it's just not like that. This isn't how it is. It's not like anything. It's not like this or like that or the other thing. It's not. What the reality is at any given moment isn't anything until you start talking about it, or you start putting theories on it, you start putting belief systems on it. It's literally, even if you look around, you see cars and buildings and trees and whatnot, it's literally not anything until you you know, put a storyline to it, you put a belief system to it, you put shape, form, you know, words. You lay words on top of it, and then it extends out into the future and back into the past. But until you do that, even with all the form, with the solidified form, with the car that you're in, because that stuff remains when you're not actively putting out a belief system, but this is a very subtle thing to grasp, but it's literally it's still the 0 point. It's still the unmanifest, even here in what appears to be the manifest. And you can put whatever you want on it. You can put the belief systems on it. You can manipulate physical objects. You can take a thought and you know, push it out into the realm. You can do whatever, but you don't have to. That's another misconception, and it's another belief system that many others push onto their compadres, because that's how they feel it is. And that's not how it is. It's not anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to not do anything. It's absolute, total, and utter freedom. Always. And that's how it's always been, and that's how it always will be. But it's within that freedom is contained the option to play and move and build things and have sex and create businesses, watch horror movies. Literally everything that you ever had before is still available. That didn't go anywhere. In fact, now more of those things are available because you're not limiting yourself to the two-party system, the two-party political system, so to speak. And when I got done integrating all this stuff, and I'm pretty sure I'm done now. It took a really long time, and it was a lot of trauma, but I'm pretty sure I'm finished, at least with that particular, and maybe that's just a blip, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know, but one of the things that I was thinking when I was seeing all this, I was like, well, it's all fake, like it's all just, it's pretend. And it made me like horrified to have that thought because I thought everything was real. And then I was like, oh my God, well, we're basically dead then, like nothing's even happening. This is literally all make-believe. And I just freaked out, and I would have panic attacks over that. And of course the disassociation that happens, the ego self is traumatized and fearful and doesn't want to disappear and whatnot. And so I was trying to find a solution for this problem because it was a problem. It was a big problem for many years. And eventually I realized that it's the fact that all of this stuff is not real in the sense that we thought it was. Okay, it's not saying that it's not real in any sense. It's not real in the sense that we were formerly conceiving it as, which is a heavy. We were given a heavy, solid, weighty understanding of the world and the universe. And when you come to this realization that it's 100% thought form mind, you and everything in it, like you're not even different from the trees that are sitting on the side of the road, not really, then you see that everything is weightless. That's the true form. The true form of everything is that it's 100% weightless and free, as in nobody's telling it what to do. It is doing what it does simply because that's what it's doing. And they're like, like all of the Eastern traditions say, there isn't even a proper I to be had. There is simply a focused sense of awareness, which carries no weight. And after a while, I was extremely thankful that all of this stuff really, in a sense, was nothing, but in a greater sense, it didn't carry weight. It didn't. It allowed freedom of expression for new forms to come and new creations to come through the space, rather than this heavy, weighty, energetically gravitational stuff that didn't have to just sit around forever and ever on you or whatever you consider your focus sense of awareness to be. And eventually I was very happy about this, rather than trying to have a mind fracture and freaking out about whatever. The realization that it's all thought form is not a bad thing. It's traumatic when you first come to that. And if you come to that sort of unexpectedly through some sort of substance, then it's much more traumatic than, for instance, if someone like me is telling you how I experience it, and you can examine into that idea. in a more gentle manner that doesn't have to be traumatic at all, because I'm telling you, I'm out the other side of it, and it's much the new way of seeing and being is much better than the heavy, weighty, solid form. Everything is simply the way it is, as in like this static belief system. That is much worse than where I'm at now. Much less enjoyable. And when you drop all that, then you don't have any more restrictions whatsoever. You can even like place some onto yourself. You can give yourself challenges. You can explore. All these things are available to you, but there's not like an imperative. There's not marching orders. It's like total freedom, and that freedom is scary at first, and because we're used to having, you know, whoever or whomever as the like the ringleader or the master or whatever, and then you realize that, you know, everything is it's not. Freedom doesn't require any of that. Weightlessness, it's, you know, and it's endless muse is that's what the existence is. At least that's what it has become for me. So I'm gonna go buy a 1 terabyte iPhone X, so I don't have to be frustrated about my video stopping in the middle of it. I guess this will be part 1 and part 2. Anywho, yeah, hope everybody's doing well. Bye.